Hey, happy Thursday, everyone. Joe Madden here. It's time for All-Jo Madden over here on Picks and Parlays. You guys, it is Thursday. We got a loaded slate of games to go over, and I have a strong list of handicappers. We've got Sean Higgs coming in here as well as Dre Rich, and we're going to go over MLB, college football, and of course, a Thursday night football. Now, maybe not the exciting one people were hoping for with the Seattle Seahawks and the Arizona Cardinals, but definitely opportunities to make some money. Now, while we're going over these games, make sure you do open your odds logic page so that you can go over there and get the best of those numbers, shop those lines, because I tell you that hook can cost you sometimes. We are seeing a little bit of line movement out here between these two teams. We're seeing currently the Seattle Seahawks coming in as a favorite for Thursday night football. We're looking at them laying 1.5 points. It's coming in at -110. And then, of course, the Cardinals +1.5 home dog here. And then we have a total of 43.5. Now, normally in a divisional matchup, I'm looking at the rivalry. I'm loving the home dog, but who can get behind the Arizona Cardinals, especially off that loss in their last game out to Mac Jones and the 49ers? We're going to see what the Cards are able to do here at home. And again, Sean Higgs and Dre Rich will be stepping in to give us their best bets in this Thursday night football game. Dre Rich also has some MLB for us, a college football play for Saturday. And of course, we're going to follow it out at the end of the show with my fade or follow play it like Madden with all of my best bets. Now, we do have the poll currently out on X, and make sure you head on over to X, get your bets in on what you think the best bets are tonight out there in Thursday night football. We're seeing the majority of people liking the Seahawks laying the 1.5 or straight up on that money line at -126. Not too much love coming in for the Cards, only getting 14.1% of the love. The under also showing the love there too at 43.5. 14.1% of people putting in those bets is liking the under. When I look at that matchup, I want to fade. It's the books versus the public. Who wants to fade the books? I kind of want to be on the side of the books, but Cody rolling in with the under. It's a hard one. I think Seattle is a play for me or nothing, but we're going to get into it. We're going to go over all of these, you guys. There's 12 games out there on the diamonds. When you're looking at college football tonight, it is Army versus East Carolina. I have a bet in this one for you that you definitely want to grab at the end of the show when we do play it like Madden, fade or follow. So also at the end of the show, you guys, I'm going to make sure I do the recap at the end of the show. I'll show all of the handicappers' best bets at the end of the show as well for anyone that just doesn't have the time to stick around. But let's get to it, you guys. We're going to bring in Sean Higgs and see what he's liking today in Thursday Night Football. Sean, happy Thursday.
Good morning, Joe. How are you today?
I'm doing pretty good. How about yourself?
Not too bad. Just another day grinding away. Here we go. It's we're almost done with September. A month gone already. Everybody's like, "Oh, it's football." And here you go. You got a month gone. You got a quarter of the season out of the way by Monday.
Yeah, it's flying. It really is flying fast. I thought today was the 20th. Not gonna lie. I was talking to a friend and I was like, "Oh, actually, I thought it was the 21st," because it's like, "Yeah, the 20th yesterday." And she's like, "No, yesterday was the 24th." So I can't believe we're already sitting here at September 25th. I don't know how it's gone by so quick, and we're already week 4 kicking off here in the NFL. So looking at tonight's Thursday night matchup, is this a blockbuster game that you're hoping for on a Thursday night? We know we had stinkers last year. Could this be another one, Sean?
I don't know. I mean, I do like the under in this game. Am I going to get to the window on it? It's not a premium pick. It's a free pick is what it is. I kind of like it, but it's tough to pull. You saw Seattle put up a 40 spot against a bad Saints team. Arizona loses 16-15 in just ridiculous fashion. I mean, you're up 15-13 on a safety. You get the ball back. You miss a field goal. It costs you the game, and then you lose your running back for the year. The offense hasn't been good for Arizona, right? I mean, they've struggled against. Let's be honest, they struggled against the Saints in New Orleans. They almost lost that game. They needed a late help there. At home against Carolina, they needed again hold them off as they stormed the gates late. And then Seattle just made the Saints look like a college football team. It looks easy to be like, oh, just take Seattle easy here. I don't know about that. I like, again, give me the under here, and a couple props I like. I think with Colorado, the Arizona, I think Kyler Murray is going to maybe take off a little more. Here we go. There's Kyler. He's on the bottom here. His rushing yards, 25. It's minus 140. That's about as high as I go with these kind of things. If you want to bump it up a little bit, I think he's going to get out there and run a little bit more here. From the bottom to the top here, we'll go with a Seattle wide receiver. I mean, this guy, he's got 26 targets and 1 touchdown. Obviously, Sam Darnold is comfortable throwing him the ball wherever he's on the field, just chucks it to him. So 90 yards, again, I'm looking at a guy closing in 100 yards and anytime touchdown. Doesn't mean we're going to get 40-something points. It could be still a low-scoring game there. And the field goal kicker here, Chad Ryland, over 1.5. He was 2 out of 3 in New Orleans. He had 2 at home. He was 2 or 3 last week. They're moving the ball enough to get him into field goal range. I think we had this by halftime with his field goal. So his over 1.5 field goals, again, that's a minus 105. That's not even a crazy juice one there, but there you got him there. I think Smith's going to catch some passes. Maybe he can say, hey, fella, can you throw it to me when we're in, near the end zone, please? Can I get a touchdown? You threw me the ball 30 times already. Can I catch a touchdown, please? So receiving yards a little juiced up there. 81 is his regular total. So 115. I said, you know what? Let's get a little plus money. I enjoy the plus money more than the minuses. So I think we get a little bit out of him. Again, the field goal. I'm going to say this is pretty much rolling down as my favorites of the day. I have to say the under, and then Arizona field goal kicker to get his field goals. Smith to get the receiving yards and touchdown, and Murray to kind of take off and get yards. So if you're going to ask me my favorites as how to rate them, you got them perfectly written down here as to how I'd play them in order of likeness or how strong or whatever kind of words you want to use on my ratings of them.
Yeah, you absolutely laid them out perfectly. So everyone listening, that is Seattle and Arizona under 43.5. And then Ryland there, the field goal kicker over 1.5 field goals. Najigba Smith for 90+ receiving yards, getting some plus money, Higgs. I love how you altered that. And Najigba Smith, anytime touchdown at plus 150. And Kyler Murray over 25 rushing yards. I love that we're getting the flat number of 25 there. I can see him going off as well. 30 rushing yards in this game. He's going to have to put the weight of this team on his shoulders. I really do feel like that. He's not making those connections as much with Marvin Harrison Jr. out there that I really thought that he had a great rapport in even preseason in some of those games. So I don't know what's happening for them out there, but I'm looking for Arizona to step up a little bit, at least moving that ball.
You'd think it was a good time to step up for them. You had a favorable schedule to start. You had the Saints, who had basically a rookie quarterback or second-year guy hasn't want to start. Carolina, what are they? I know they won last week, but they don't look all that great. And you have them at home, you should win that game. You're in a backup quarterback situation against Mac Jones. Again, I'm a Mac Jones fan. I feel like that guy's on his third team in 3 years. It's ridiculous for a guy who was a top 5 draft pick. But you're in favorable spots, and you still can't deliver. You have talent on the team. All I've heard is this coach is good, and where's the step forward for Kyler Murray? We just have not seen it.
Yeah,
the flashes are there, but
yeah. Have you ever been a believer, like a big believer in Kyler Murray, Sean?
No, quarterbacks. You just I think you need to get into the right kind of system. I mean, I really do. I mean, we saw Sam Darnold after years of kind of putzing around have a great breakout year. Is he going to have that year this year? I don't know about that. I mean, you just have to – things really have to break right for a young quarterback to come in and succeed. Yeah. Seattle, you got Russell Wilson in the 3rd round. You had talent all around him. Again, but that was the coach. That was the coach who came out of college and knew – these kids and could draft deep because he was recruiting these guys and kind of knew how they were. So that's why they were kind of good for so long, because he had an inside kind of look at who would fit his system. How many bad quarterbacks are there in the league?
Oh, yeah. Right?
Oh, Cam Ward's going to be great. Cam Ward. I mean, Will Levis was supposed to be great the year before. I mean, when, we can go on now with some of these guys. Justin Fields. I mean,
Ugh.
insert name. I just
I
want
hope.
to pick out one guy.
Right?
It's
Gardner Minshew, love or hate. I think we could play love or hate, right? I love the love and
but
hate.
I think he's a decent guy who comes off the bench and gives you something. Like he'll be good for a couple weeks, and then they catch up with him.
Okay, so what are you expecting out of Sam Darnold in this matchup today? Are you expecting much out of him? You're rolling with an under. So are all those points coming for, like, are the lack of points coming for both teams? Or could you see the Seahawks actually putting up some points in Arizona, just not doing their share?
No, I don't know if they could put up another 40. I mean, 30 is a lot of points. What are they going to put up, 24? I mean, 24-17 is an under. 24-20, you're right near the total. I mean, I don't think they're scoring 27. I would be if I'm guessing a score here, 23-20. I could see like a low score, like a 22-16, like some weird kind of touchdown, and there's a missed extra point, or we saw a bunch of blocks last week, some kind of nonsense. Yeah, I'm not expecting 34-30 shootout here. And if it is, hey, so be it. That will just be the way the league has been going. You think it's going to go one way, and then all heck breaks loose, and it's totally different kind of feel for things. But I know short weeks. We've seen some high-scoring games on short weeks. I don't know. I think the Arizona defense, you saw it last week versus the Niners, kind of tough. Even in their two close games versus bad teams, they're not giving up a lot of points. Coming on the road is tough. Short week is tough. No running back for Arizona. It's going to be like, Benson and Murray. That just kind of messes up your thing when you got a couple days to prepare. I think it's going to be, again, I like the low. I think it's low scoring. I'm not going to say, they scored 40 last week, they're going to score a bunch this week. No, you're never as good as the week before. You're never as bad as the week before.
Okay, I like where you're going then. Yeah, good point there with James Conner out of the lineup for the Arizona Cardinals. Anyone that didn't see him get injured in that game versus the 49ers, Trey Benson now stepping up to that running back number 1 role. So that's going to be a lot of weight on his shoulders between him and then Kyler Murray to establish that run game to try to then get the passing game going. So Sean, great point out there. We also see the defense not blitzing a lot for Arizona. Do you think they're going to put some pressure though on Sam Darnold, or do you think he's going to have lots of time in the pocket to move that ball, because you are rolling with Njigma Smith for his over on his receiving yards? So I can see him having the time in the pocket there.
Yes and no. I think Arizona can get after it a little bit, but with Smith, he just chucks it to that guy's side of the field. I mean, he's the most targets on the team. He throws it over there. He knows he's going to catch it. He's got 22 receptions already. He's comfortable with him over there. So whether it's going to be like a Land McConkey situation from last year where, he's catching 11 of 16 balls or something, kind of crazy numbers like that. And we saw that last year with the Chargers. I think we'll see that with Seattle this year. That is who he's comfortable throwing the ball to at any given moment, whether he's got 2 seconds to throw or 6 seconds to throw or 3.6 seconds to throw. It doesn't make a difference. His number 1 guy is Smith, and he's just locked in on him all the time. And that's where – Darnold gets in trouble that way. That's the old, the Jets. I see ghosts on the field. I mean, they weren't in Minnesota when you're going 14-3.
Talk about that again. Come on. When's he going to live that down? Ever?
No, I don't think. I mean, but again, he goes to a team that's not a good team and didn't have a good coach, got problems. He went to a good coach with some players around him. He looked great. I mean, we could say, "Whoa!" I'm punching my microphone here and getting mad at it. How about Daniel Jones? Looks pretty darn good on a different kind of team right now. Again, it's 3 games, but we said the same thing about Darnold last year on his way to a 14. Well, it's only a couple games, only a couple. You never know. You find a spot, and things work out for you.
Yeah, it's amazing what Daniel Jones has been able to do with the Colts. One quick note on Arizona and their ability to give up those long plays. They have allowed 826 passing yards thus far on the season to opposing quarterbacks. Second most behind. Guess who's given up the most passing yards? Dallas, you guys.
I was going to say Dallas, or I was going to think maybe Cincinnati, because they've had some. But they had a tough day. They had the low scoring game the first game.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, Sean, I'm going to go over your best bets one more time, let you go over those. And then Sean's best bets here. Sean, take it away.
Here we go. I'm going to go under the 43.5 tonight between Seattle and Arizona. Chad Ryland over 1.5 field goals. That is minus 105. Njigma Smith receiving yards. I juiced it up to a 90, a little ladder there. Action for plus 115 and his anytime touchdown 150. as I said, he gets a lot of targets, a lot of looks. We just need one in the red zone here. And Kyler Murray, Trey Benson's out here, and that's all fine and dandy. But listen, Arizona is at its best when this kid runs. We've seen him in the past take off and make things happen with his feet. Get it done here. It's a little juicy at minus 140, but it is what it is. We'll take it here. Sometimes I'll go a little higher like that. That's a rarity for me there, Joe.
Yeah, but definitely one that you want to take. And I think that's also another great bet that people can ladder out there. Sean, I know you've got a whole bunch for a sale. What kind of packages are you running right now?
Yeah, well, I got some college football up here for Thursday night. I got college football up for Friday packages. And I don't have them loaded up package-wise for Saturday and Sunday, but there are, I guess, about 15 college and NFL ready, loaded, and I just have to package them up. Having a good college football season. I think I'm like 41-20. I'm around 58%, pretty good. NFL though, I'm just 500 right now. I'm 16-15 or 15-6 right there. So it is what it's all right. I'm not gonna say I have to get. We got a leaderboard to see who the best is across the board, and I'm hoping to get there. And listen, if anything like years past, I'll have a nice weekend. I was that close last week to a 6-2. The Rams game was tough. I had a couple totals. The Cowboy total, I had a 46. They got 45. So those breaks in any sport, as we like to say, they go one way early, then they kind of fall your way. Any capper will tell you that's just part of the sports betting world there. But
definitely is.
One day at a time. So I've been at it a long time. I can't get too upset, but I'll always tell you, win or lose, always the truth how I'm doing.
Absolutely. And you guys don't forget that Weekend Warrior package is running again this weekend. Get every football play from Sean Higgs as well as Dre Rich and all of the handicappers over here on Picks and Parlays for Saturday and Sunday for only $49. As an added bonus, you're also going to get, once again, those Monday picks as well at no extra cost. So, Sean, it's going to be a great night of football. Hopefully, knock on wood, we're going to make some money out there. Want to wish you all the best in all of your bets.
Thanks, Joe. Yeah, I'll see. Maybe I don't. If I move on this one again, I'm this close to just making it an official site play here on the under. So you might get it. You might wake up tomorrow and be like, "Oh, he did put it out." Well, you got it. You got it here for tuning in early on the All-Jo Madden show.
Awesome, Sean. Thank you so much. All the best in all of your bets.
Thanks, Joe. Take it easy.
Okay, guys, that was Sean Higgs again. He's absolutely crushing it out there. So make sure you go on over to picksandparlays.com to get all of his best bets. We will bring in Dre Rich in just a moment here. I want to just check out the poll we're running over on X. If you haven't got your bets in on that poll on X versus the books, I want to see where the money is coming. So as we started the show, we were seeing the majority of the love coming in on the Seattle Seahawks. I hate being with the public, you guys, but I can't go against the public and X on this one. I just can't put my money on the Cardinals right now. We are seeing that love for the under come in a little bit more. It's sitting around 16%. So adjusted numbers from what you're seeing on the screen, 62% for the Seahawks, 12% for the Cardinals, and 9% for the over, 16.1% for that under. So a little different than you're seeing there on the screen, but that is where the love is coming. Now we're going to bring in Dre Rich. He's going to go over Thursday night football, MLB. He also has a Saturday college football play. And then again, at the end of the show, we're going to recap all of the handicappers' best bets over here. First, I will do my play or follow Madden plays out there. So I've got a college football bet tonight. I was seeing your comments coming in for you wish you got Army early at the +5.5. I hear you on that. We're going to see what Army is going to be able to do versus the run. They've had those struggles, but we have seen that line move to 2.5. So Cody, it's going to be an interesting game for sure. We'll talk about that game. We'll talk about my best bets in Thursday night football as well as defensive bets. So make sure you drop those questions, those comments in the live chat over here on YouTube. If you're watching anywhere else, want to get those questions, those comments in, please come over to YouTube and hit that like, hit that subscribe button so that you can get, notifications for when we go live. You want to get everything over here on Picks and Parlays. But let's bring in Dre Rich to the show. We're going to go over what he's liking tonight. Dre, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me on again.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that you're coming on every Thursday. So if you want to come on every Thursday, Dre is definitely here. We've got so much to go over tonight. I know you've got bets in Thursday night football, MLB, college football. Let's save Thursday night football for a little minute here. Let's start looking at MLB tonight because there's some great games out there. I know you've got two circled. Why don't we start with the Marlins here versus the Phillies? What are you liking in this matchup?
I like the Marlins here. I know they lost last night pretty bad, but I think this is going to be a much more competitive matchup with Jansen Junk on the mound for the Marlins. He's 6-3 this season, and he hasn't lost a away game yet. The Phillies they're dangerous. They have a lot of dangerous lefties, but mainly they're right-handed at the plate. And that's where Jansen does his work the best, is against right-handed batters. I'm fading Walker Buehler. I am a Red Sox fan. Walker Buehler, it's in the name. He's a walker. He walks bats. He puts himself in danger. He puts people on base. And I know he's 2-0 with the Phillies since he left Boston and joined them. But he played the Diamondbacks and the Royals, which aren't better batting teams overall than the Marlins. And I think the Marlins are going to have a better opportunity to capitalize on him. The Marlins are a good road team overall. They are plus over in the away games this season. And he could have trouble with these switch hitters that the Marlins have. So I'm going with the Marlins plus 1.5.
Okay, I like where you're going with the Marlins there, plus the 1.5. I think it is a great look for sure in that matchup. Now, we've got day action kicking off, but I know you've got another game that you're looking at here between the Chicago White Sox and the New York Yankees. The Yankees giving the start to Rodon and Martin coming out here for the Chicago White Sox. In this one, we have a total Yankees as that large favorite. It feels like the Yankees are always rolling in as a $3 favorite. What are you liking? Where are you finding value in this one?
So I wish there was better value on the 1.5 with the Yankees, because I do think that they take over in this game. But I'm going with the over 8.5 runs, which is at better money. Carlos Rodon, he's a strong ace to have on the mound. It's hard to see him giving up 2 or more runs in this game. However, the bats of New York Yankees are hitting very well against Davis Martin, and they should probably carry the most of this weight of this 8.5 runs. Yankees bat .325 against Davis. And in the last meeting, Davis and his support for the relief pitchers, they gave up 10 runs to the Yankees in a 10-4 loss. But he had run support. So I believe that they will be able to get some runs on the Yankees. I'm not sure if it's going to be during the time of Carlos Rodon's innings pitched, but I do think that this is going to be easily going over 8.5 runs here.
Yeah, I like the over 8.5. And do you ever isolate the team totals there? We're seeing the Chicago White Sox team total coming in at just 2.5. Now it's highly juiced at minus 148. If you think they can get those 3 runs, you got to lay it. But if you believe in the Yankees here to be able to get the majority of those runs, Dre, we're seeing a total of 5.5 for them. It's plus 106 to the over. Can the Yankees get 6 runs in this, or is that kind of sitting right on that number that you were looking at, right around that 6?
I definitely would take the over 5.5 runs for the Yankees tonight. They need to win as many games as they can. If they want to catch the Blue Jays in the AL East, they're going to have to win every game. And I know they're at home, so this is going to be a time for them to showcase their skills at the plate. Aaron Judge, he's done well in the season. He's going to have to do well in this postseason, but he needs to start the fire now. And I think that a lot of their bats are going to have as much opportunities as they can to score runs in this game. So I'm going over on the team total for the Yankees.
Okay, I like where you're going there. And as you bring up those home runs, it's hard for me not to just quickly have a look at those home run props. I love looking at the batter props. You mentioned Aaron Judge. He's only plus 148, you guys, for that home run today. But Ben Rice, someone who is jumping off the board to me, coming in at plus 285 for that home run. You've got Chisholm at plus 300 and Bellinger at plus 400. So many bats out there that can get it done. Dre, is there anyone that really is standing out to you? Even Stanton coming in at plus 200.
I was just about to say Stanton. I like Giancarlo Stanton, especially at home. At home, he is the guy that I would trust more than Aaron Judge to hit a home run. And I think that Davis Martin doesn't have good numbers against him as well. So if there's anyone to bet on home runs, I think that is one of the most riskiest props to bet on in sports, period, is a home run prop. But if I'm going to take one, I'm going with Stanton.
But it always feels like the most fun betting those home run props, especially when they come in cashing. It's a great day watching the diamonds when that happens. So just to recap, those MLB best bets for Dre is the Marlins plus the 1.5 at minus 146 at the Phillies, and the Chicago White Sox and the New York Yankees over the 8.5 at minus 115, with me having a lean to Ben Rice for the home run at plus 285, and Dre having that lean to Stanton for the home run at plus 196. It just moved 4 points there, Dre. So people coming in, following your lead there, getting in on that money. Let's talk tonight's Thursday night football game. This game is not, the epic Ravens-Lions game that we had on Monday Night Football. This is two teams that maybe some people will be turning off the TV, but we got a doubleheader on Monday, and we're going to, I think, be seeing the same thing out there with those double headers, just not the headline games that we probably want to see. But do you think this game could be a little bit more exciting than people expect?
I do think that this is going to be a higher scoring game. I am not on the same page with Sean Higgs on this. I like the over, but my best bet is the Seahawks to win this game by more than 1.5 points. We have to go with the better defense here. We seen what happened when the Cardinals played the Panthers. It was a dismal performance by their defense, and most of it was in the last 2 quarters of the game where Bryce Young was just unloading the clip on them. He threw for 328 yards. I can't back a defense who lets that happen at home in a game where they were favored by more than a touchdown. Well, by a touchdown. And it's just the Seahawks, they are catching fire. They are realizing that they are competitive. I saw in that game against the 49ers, they can stop the run. And the Cardinals already don't have a run game anymore without Connors. So it's going to be a pass-first game plan for the Cardinals, and that could play right into the Seahawks' hands. It's going to be really tough sledding uphill, but I do think that the Seahawks can score enough points to get us over this total, and I do see the Cardinals scoring at least 2 touchdowns in this game.
I love where you're going. You and I are kind of on the same page with our bets. I don't completely contradict Sean Higgs, but I lean more towards where you're going. I'm looking at first half, first quarters kind of totals, team totals for the Seattle Seahawks. You guys, I'll get into that at the end of the show, but I love where your thought process is going here. I was flirting with ulting the Seahawks spread. Laying 1.5, we know if they're going to win it. It's doubtful that they win it by 2 points, right? That number of 2, if they win, I think they win this convincingly. I could see them winning this by a touchdown. Have you put any bets, little sprinkles on any alt lines, or is that something that you ever do, Dre?
I do love alt lines, especially in football. I think a lot of the winning totals are skewed to recency bias. So they think this is going to be a close game because both teams have struggled in different spots, and their division is a tight division game. I just think that the Seahawks are leagues better than this Cardinals team, who don't have any direction after this season. Kyler Murray could be out of the door. So yeah. I think the Seahawks are actually banding together, and they're more of a team, and they're well coached. I don't know about the coaching for the Cardinals right now. They don't have any direction on offense. Marvin Harrison Jr. isn't doing very well in the pass game. He's dropping balls. Trey McBride is slow coming on to the season. I have to go with the Seahawks to win this game convincingly. Over, I think more than a touchdown, definitely.
Okay, so let's look at some of those outlines. You guys, just going to read you out some of the numbers from one of the books I use. Laying the 1.5 has gone up to plus 118 with the Seattle Seahawks. So we are seeing movement. It was minus 108 earlier in the day as money's starting to come in on Arizona. But again, I can't back this team. Laying the 2.5 for Seattle's coming in at plus 128, the 3.5 at plus 164. When we get up to laying the 6.5 with them winning by touchdown, that's going to give you that plus 250 mark. I like to do like a nice ladder. Like if I'm laddering it up 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 points, I'll put 3 different bets on that kind of area. Would you sprinkle on a double-digit win? I wouldn't be shocked if we saw the double-digit win out here and they held, Arizona to 17 points even and won this 27-17. I don't think that is out of question. Laying the 9.5 is plus 370, Dre.
And I like where you're going with this. The ladder, I love ladders because you might not hit all the rings of the ladder, but you'll hit maybe the first 3 of those high totals. So I would sprinkle on all those. Honestly, a double-digit win is not out of the realm of possibility.
Yeah,
I have not gotten to that point. I think my safest one would be the 2.5, 3.5.
absolutely. Yeah.
But
Those should be the best bets for sure, you guys. Right? Take the safe bets. Dre, let's get into your best bets then.
I do like Kyler Murray over 31.5 passing attempts. They're not going to be able to run the ball. We've seen what happened with the Seahawks when they played the Niners. They held McCaffrey and Brian Robinson down. Those are way better running backs than the ones that the Cardinals have. I think it's going to be a passing game script for the Cardinals. So 31.5 passing attempts should not be hard for Kyler Murray to get. Also, he's had over 31.5 passing attempts in the last 2 meetings at home against the Seahawks. So they're going to let him use his own legs as well as rely on the receivers because he doesn't have a good running back core to rely on. And Torrey Horton, he's not getting many targets, but when he gets those targets, he's catching them. And they trust him in the red zone. So I like him to have more than his 2.5 catches, as well as over the 21.5 yards that has gone up on most books to 26.5 already.
Okay, guys, you see it there. The Seahawks laying the 1.5, Kyler Murray over 31.5, passing attempts at minus 120, and Horton over 21.5 receiving yards. Dre, that's going to be quite the bets tonight. I'm with you on those. Let's talk some college football for Saturday. So looking at the Saturday slate, 3:30 Eastern, I believe this one kicks off. Auburn at Texas A&M. We got an over under of 52.5. Where does your best bets come in this one?
I'm going with Auburn plus 6.5. Like I said, football is all about recency bias when it comes to these books laying these numbers. Auburn is a better team, in my opinion, than Texas A&M, especially defensively. So Auburn lost to Oklahoma. We all saw that it was rough, but they were competitive. And this Texas A&M team have allowed 20 or more points to all their opponents so far, including to people like Utah State and UTSA. So I know Auburn's a much better offensive unit than those teams. I see Auburn having a much better day offensively, especially in the running game, where UTSA ran for 203 yards on Texas A&M. Their running back had 177 by himself. So it'll be a high-scoring game again. Like last season, it was 80 points in the game total. But in the end, Auburn's defense is going to get more stops than the Aggies. And in this game like this, where it could be high-scoring and close, I know that the defensive stops, the punts forced, are going to be crucial in this game. So I'm taking Auburn plus 6.5.
Yeah, Auburn plus 6.5 at minus 110 currently. You guys make sure you get those in before we do see movement in those lines, because we know there's going to be money that will start to come in late in those. But Dre, I know you're part of the weekend warrior that will be running over here on Picks and Parlays. You guys head on over to picksandparlays.com to grab Dre's weekend warrior. That is all of his football plays in college as well as the NFL Saturday and Sunday for only $49 $50. You'll also get his Monday picks over there, and you can get any of the handicappers' best bets over on picksandparlays.com and be part of this package. But Dre, what else do you have going on for us?
Well, I'm always posting picks on Picks and Parlays. I'm 71% right now in the NFL. I'm 72% in college football. I could probably post more college football picks, but right now I'm just focused on the NFL. But I'm also I have my show, Money Huddle. It's on YouTube, Spotify, we're everywhere. So check those out too. Those episodes are on. You can get some free bets for this weekend as well on those sites.
That is awesome, Dre. Thank you so much for joining us here on All-Jo Madden on Picks and Parlays. Want to wish you all the best in all of your bets, and let's hope for a high-scoring one out of Seattle tonight. Okay, guys, that was Dre Rich. We kind of just lost him a little bit there at the end. We're going to recap all of the handicappers' best bets at the end of the show. We are going to do fade or follow my Madden plays, so stay tuned for that. We're going to have a quick look at that poll, see where the love for tonight's Thursday night football is coming. If you guys haven't got your bets in, we're sitting pretty solid on that 63% of you liking the Seattle Seahawks laying the 1.5. And I tell you, it makes me nervous being on the same side as X as the public, because, well, we know Vegas is around for a reason. So if you want to jump on the cards to be able to have a bounce back off that loss to the 49ers, only 12.4% of X is taking the Cardinals either plus the 1.5 or straight up on that money line at plus 108. Now we are starting to see movement in those lines. You can check out the odds page over on Picks and Parlays to shop those lines as well. Make sure you head on over there, as well as Odds Logic, to shop those lines. So lots of places you can get the best of those numbers, and it's so important, especially with that total 43.5. I'm seeing it sitting pretty solid at. But let's start going over the things that I am liking tonight. Make sure you do drop those questions, drop those comments in the live chat over here on YouTube. Even if you want to just say hi, you guys, I do appreciate it. Now, 12 games out there on the diamonds, and I'm kind of staying off the diamonds right now. I do think the Yankees are the right side. We saw a dogs barking yesterday. We saw some big upsets. Looking at today's slate, it is kicking off at 12:40 with Pittsburgh versus Cincinnati. I don't love that game, you guys. Cincinnati is a minus 166 favorite, and I do think they are the right side, but I don't see them winning it by multiple runs. So it wasn't a game that I was able to get behind. I do think Houston versus the A's, you've got Valdez getting the start for Houston. They're only a minus 110 favorite versus the A's, and that does give me a little bit of concern. With Valdez, I think it sounds like a fishy line. I'm one of those people who will stay off a game like that. Junk is getting the start versus Phillies, and this is one that Dre did talk about. He was rolling with Miami plus the 1.5, and I don't blame him. I think Miami actually has the chance of getting the win there at plus 139. I do think they'll come out strong. Walker Buehler has an ERA of 5.24, and I don't trust him in a lot of situations. Dre was talking about how he does walk a lot of bats, and I could see him walking those bats today. Junk coming out as the stronger pitcher. Carlos Rodon, I do think you could look at him for his outs today. I really like what we've seen out of Carlos Rodon from the New York Yankees. He had 8 strikeouts in his last game. So just looking at his strikeouts, I wanted to pull this up for you, see what we're getting here for him, because it's one of those games that I haven't got it in. Now, his number, and this is why I didn't get it in, it was 5.5, and that's what it was last night. It's minus 152. They have put the old strikeouts up now. So the 7+ strikeouts for Carlos Rodon coming in at plus 126. And that's where I would hit. You look at him in his last game out there. He was able to get those 8 strikeouts on the board versus the Baltimore Orioles. He only had 4 versus Minnesota, but I am looking at him averaging 5.1 strikeouts in the last 10 to be able to do that versus the Chicago White Sox. I just don't see the White Sox not striking out in this. So 7+ strikeouts there, I think, is a solid way to go for Carlos Rodon. You could also look at him for his outs today, just looking to see if it was posted. Again, when I was going over these lines before the show started, we weren't getting anything, and we're still not getting Carlos Rodon's outs. Now, I would look at him to go over 15, 16, 17. I'm sure they'll post at 18.5. His last game versus Baltimore, he was able to get 21 outs So I'd look at the 18.5 to the over. 19.5, I still think he gets there, but I'd be a little cautious if they're posting it that high, or the 21. So we'll see. We'll see where the books go with that. But let's talk some college football, you guys. I do have a best bet in this game, Army versus East Carolina. And drop those questions, drop those comments in the chat. Seeing them right now. Teasing Arizona with Army. Yeah, teasing Arizona with Army. That is for sure. So let's look at this Army East Carolina game. It's going to be an interesting one, I do think. You've seen that line of movement in this game, as I'm producing at the same time, you guys. So I'm just trying to get my banners up here for you to see where I've got them. So this is a game in which I think starts off slow. Army was a 5.5 point dog. Cody was calling that out. This total sitting at that 52.5. It did open at 53.5. So we saw that drop of a point. 5.5 point favorite for East Carolina, down because of heavy movement. They were 2.5 point favorites. So there's 4.5s and 5.5s out there for East Carolina. It's just floating around those numbers. I do think here your best way to look is that slow start for these teams. I look at Army and I look at their biggest concern. It's their lack of ability to stop the run as of late. So we look at East Carolina. I expect them to play a heavy run game in this, which we know chews up the clock, and especially in that first half before both of these teams really need to get that ball moving through the air. Army's also had special teams issues with those missed field goals. So I'm looking at that first half total, 27.5, and I don't see the points coming straight out of the gate. East Carolina has been excellent up front as well. They've been able to control that line of scrimmage, and I think they're going to be able to do that in this one. So my best bet in this game between Army and East Carolina, oops, that's the wrong one, you guys. Here we are, is the first half under 27.5 points. Now you're going to have to lay the juice. It's minus 130. If you want to play around with that, I struggle to see them getting 25 or 24 points even. So you could play with an alt under in that first half. Let's now move on to Thursday night football. You guys know this is where my heart is at. And if you're looking for all the handicappers best bets, make sure you do go on over to picksandparlays.com. You're able to get those over there, that weekend warrior. A couple trends for Thursday night before we get into my best bets. The Seattle Seahawks have covered the spread in 6 of their last 7 games versus the Cardinals. Now they are that 1.5 point favorite in this. The Cards have covered the spread in 5 of their last 6 home games, so kind of going against there. And the Cardinals' last 3 home games have gone over the total. Player prop trend to watch here is Michael Wilson, the wide receiver for the Cardinals, has scored a touchdown in each of his last 2 games at home versus NFC opponents. So his anytime touchdown, he is a trend there, is coming in at plus 400. Let's look at my best bets on today's slate in football. So let's bring it up here. Sorry, guys. I'm just finding it. Here we go. The Arizona and Seattle. I'm looking for this one to get off to a fast start. The first quarter over 7.5 points is coming in at plus 110. I look at both of these teams, you guys, and you look at the issues that we saw out of Arizona last week. Kyler Murray has to have a bad taste in his mouth, and I do think he's going to get that ball moving straight out of the gate. He wants to get those points on the board. I think those connections will come stronger with Marvin Harrison Jr. in this one. Trey McBride has to really step up as well. He needs to find a way to move the ball through the air, because I look at Seattle and I do think their run defense is going to put that pressure on Kyler Murray in this one, not allowing him to run the ball, and Trey Benson. I think they're really going to limit them. I think Kyler Murray to start this game will come out with a couple of big scripted plays out there to get the ball moving. And even if they have to settle for a field goal, I'm trusting Seattle to get that touchdown to start this game. I look at Sam Darnold here, and you're either a believer in Sam Darnold or you're not. There's no in between on Sam Darnold. And we look at Seattle, such a hot start. In the last game versus the New Orleans Saints, they were able to, in the first 15 minutes, put up 21 unanswered points. They ended up winning the first half of that game, of course. They got 38 points in the first half, and they finished the game 44-13 over the Saints. I'm looking for them to come out, have a great play, be able to move the ball through the air. Sam Darnold, his last time versus the Cardinals, and yes, he was with the Minnesota Vikings then. So yeah, different lines, different coaches, but in that meeting, he was so solid versus the Arizona Cardinals. He was able to throw for 235 yards, 2 touchdowns, and no picks. And when we look at these quarterbacks as a whole, on the season, you guys, you got to be impressed with what Sam Darnold's doing. Even if you're a hater of Sam Darnold, his last game, he did go 14 of 18 for a completion percentage of 77.8%, 218 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, and was not sacked. His offensive line held there for him. In the 3 games thus far this season, Sam Darnold has a 70.3% completion rate, 52 of 74 attempts for 663 yards, 4 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. He has been sacked 3 times. He has 2 carries for 14 yards. When we look at Kyler Murray in his last game versus San Francisco, he went 22 of 35 attempts for 62.9% completion rate, only 159 yards, 1 touchdown, 0 interceptions. So he was sacked once. He did have 6 carries out there for 37 yards. So I love where Sean Higgs is going with his yards on the ground, because he's going to have to do that again in this game because those connections are not there only 62.9% of the time. I'm looking for a step up in that. We look at him overall in the season. So far, only 3 games, 60 of 89 attempts have been completed for 67.4%, 542 yards, only 4 passing touchdowns, 1 interception. He has been sacked 7 times. I'm excited for all about the D today, you guys. We're going to talk about that. 20 carries for 107 yards. So again, really reinforcing Sean Higgs's bet there with Kyler Murray on the ground. I'm going to look, like I said, at the first quarter over the 7.5 points at plus 110. I do think we have a touchdown field goal kind of hot start in this game. I could see the hot start maybe slowing down at some point. So I'm going to stay at the full game total, but we know Jerry Rich is rolling with that over on the total. Next, I got to look at the Seattle Seahawks team total though. 22.5 at minus 108 to the over. Sign me up, you guys. We saw what Seattle was able to do versus the Saints. And I know this is a divisional matchup here between these 2 teams, but I struggle to see the Seattle Seahawks not being able to score, especially with what the secondary has been doing here. For the Arizona Cardinals, they're allowing those big plays to come in. And I do think Sam Darnold will be able to capitalize here in this game on the defensive issues for the Cardinals. Over 22.5. Give me the Seattle Seahawks. I think they get, 20. I won't be shocked with 27 points out of the Seattle Seahawks. So give me their team total over 22.5. And then we got to look at Kyler Murray. I was spinning out all those stats at completion rate. He has only thrown 1 interception, but you guys, I'm taking him for another one. The anytime interception here on Kyler Murray, it's coming in at minus 113. I won't be shocked if he throws 2 in this game because I do think he's going to be playing from behind. I do think he's going to have to make some big passes down the field because of Seattle's run defense. So Kyler Murray for the interception at minus 113, but I'm not going to hate on Kyler Murray all day. I do think Kyler Murray could get in the end zone. We talked about his ability to carry that ball, use his legs himself, and his anytime touchdowns coming in at plus 310. Looking at Kyler Murray, I think he's going to be having to scramble in this game. He's had 20 carries thus far on the season for 107 yards. And looking at him in this one, if he's not able to make those connections with Marvin Harrison Jr., with Trey McBride, with James Conner out of the lineup, how much faith is he going to have in Trey Benson on that 3rd and 1, in the red zone there? Are we going to see Kyler Murray run it in? I absolutely think so. I'll take Kyler Murray for the anytime touchdown at plus 310 with his legs. And then let's look at Sam Darnold, you guys. I told you the last time Sam Darnold met up with the Arizona Cardinals, he was able to throw for 2 passing touchdowns. Yes, he was with the Minnesota Vikings, but he still has all the weapons. I know we're talking a lot about Jackson Smith-Njigba, but you've also got to look, he's got Cooper Kupp here. And I think between Cooper Kupp and Jackson Smith-Njigba, we're going to see those passing touchdowns come in. I will look at Sam Darnold over 1.5 passing touchdowns. You guys look at the great plus money we're getting on this over 1.5 passing touchdowns for Sam Darnold at plus 162. And then I'm going to take Cooper Kupp Everyone seems to be rolling high with Jackson Smith-Njigba, and I'm not denying him the anytime touchdown. I do think he gets in the end zone, but Cooper Kupp at plus 320, man, that is some sweet plus money on a wide receiver that I absolutely trust out there to be able to get that ball from Sam Darnold. So my Thursday night best bets before we get, it's all about the D. Seattle versus Arizona. First quarter over 7.5 points at plus 110. Seattle's team total over 22.5 at minus 108. Kyler Murray for the interception at minus 113. Sorry, Kyler Murray. But I'll take him for the touchdown at plus 310 to run it in with his legs. Sam Darnold over 1.5 passing touchdowns at plus 162. He's not out of the question to run one in either, you guys. He's a quarterback that definitely will push in, and he runs, and he doesn't care if he gets hit. I always worry about him getting hurt. He's like plus 610. So now I've said it, I got to put a sprinkle, but then I'll take Cooper Kupp at plus 320 for that anytime touchdown. Okay, guys, you know what that means? Now it is time for It's All About the D. It's all about the defense always for me, and I do think this is a great game to look at the defensive plays here for Seattle. It's got to be a defensive player here for Seattle. And if you guys guessed that I was going to roll with Leonard Williams for the sack, you were right. Leonard Williams for the sack today is coming in at plus 124. His last time versus the Cardinals and Kyler Murray back in November of last season in 2024, he recorded 2.5 of the 5 sacks on Kyler Murray. His anytime sack coming in at plus 124. I know it's not the best value out there, but I do think he's going to put that pressure on. So Leonard Williams for the sack at plus 124 is my best bet in the defensive side of things. So you guys, that's where we're going. Let's recap all of these handicappers' best bets out there. I'm going to roll all of them here. I want to just quickly remind you, the Weekend Warrior, go on over to picksandparlays.com and grab that. You'll get the handicapper of your choices Saturday and Sunday's plays for only $49. They're also going to throw in Monday for free. So the Weekend Warrior over on Picks and Parlays, you don't want to miss out on. Now, when we look at Sean Higgs for his best bets for Thursday night football, he's liking the under 43.5 at minus 115. He is liking the kicker, Chad Ryland, over 1.5 field goals. He said it's coming in at minus 105. Najigma Smith, plus 90 plus receiving yards. He has altered that line. So if you want to take it a little lower, you will have to lay juice, but that's at plus 115. Jackson Najigma Smith, anytime touchdown at plus 150. And Kyler Murray, over 25.5 rushing yards. Dre Rich for his Thursday night football best bets. He's going to roll with the Seattle Seahawks, laying the 1.5. Him and I talked about this, you guys. So if you missed it, both of us feel comfortable laddering up the Seahawks, but the public is on the Seahawks. So do what you want with that. Kyler Murray over 31.5 pass attempts at minus 120. And Troy Horton over 21.5 receiving yards. My best bets for Thursday night football: Seattle and Arizona. First quarter over 7.5, coming in at plus 110. Seattle's team total over 22.5 at minus 108. Kyler Murray for the interception at minus 113. Kyler Murray for the anytime rushing touchdown at plus 310. Sam Darnold over 1.5 passing touchdowns at plus 162, with a sprinkle on him to get in the end zone at plus 610. And then Cooper Kupp for the anytime touchdown at plus 320. My defensive play is Leonard Williams for the sack at plus 124 from Seattle on Kyler Murray. He had 2.5 last season on Kyler Murray in that game. And when we look at college football tonight, Army versus East Carolina, I do like the first half under 27.5 points at minus 130. Dre looking at college football for Saturday, Auburn plus a 6.5 at Texas A&M, coming in at minus 110. Again, I do feel like this line is going to move. I think it's probably going to take some money. So that 5.5 could be coming any moment. So you guys jump on it before it does move. And then Dre on the Diamonds today. The Marlins plus the 1.5 at minus 146 at the Phillies, and the White Sox and the Yankees over 8.5. He was leaning on Stanton for the home run, if anyone, and that juice was starting to the value was starting to go. It was plus 200 when we started talking about it, dropping down to now plus 190. So if you like Stanton as well for the home run, get it now. I was leaning towards Ben Rice. He's coming in right around that plus 300 mark. And then I was liking Carlos Rodon for his outs as well as his strikeouts, ulting his strikeouts to 7+ strikeouts. But you guys, thanks so much for joining me here on All-Jo Madden. We are live Monday, Thursdays, and Fridays at 11 a.m. Eastern. So make sure you do join me tomorrow. We're going to loaded show, lots of handicappers jumping on to give you their best bets. Hit that like, hit that notification button, drop below this video as well what you're liking today on the diamonds in college football, what you're liking for week 4 in the NFL. Tomorrow, we'll do more of a deep dive into what we're looking ahead for in the NFL for Sunday, as well as some more college football plays. And then, of course, talking all of the action tomorrow. So you guys make sure you join us tomorrow, 11 a.m. Eastern. Hit that notification button so you don't miss out on anything happening here on Picks and Parlays. Total Chaos has been a hit. You want to make sure you check that out, as well as grabbing all those free picks on the channel. And again, if you're looking for the handicappers, best bets or full slates for the day, you will find it over at picksandparlays.com. You guys, I will see you on Monday. No, tomorrow's Friday. I feel like today's Friday. I'll see you tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern. Until then, stay hot and let's make some freaking money.